going to check the mail because I didn't get to check it yesterday, and I was told that my Aliexpress shipment got here, so we'll see. This is exciting. This is, of course, more paint sets. We will open this in a little bit because obviously it's covered in a lot of tape. I may need to find some scissors to open this carefully. Okay, so we're gonna open this package that I just got without showing you my personal information here. So these are the stragglers from my last art supply haul. These are the ones from Aliexpress that I have been waiting on, and they finally came in the mail. I may speed up so we don't have to watch me try and struggle with opening this. So sad, my box took some damage. Okay, so these are obviously more pastel watercolors. This is, I'm actually kind of really excited that I found this one. So this is by the Mairtini brand. I've seen this on Aliexpress before and it really intrigued my interest. However, and I think I even complained about it once. They have a set of pastel watercolors. I've never heard of this brand before. I'm not really sure who makes them. I don't know if it's another Paul Rubens. I don't know if it's its own separate thing. Ones that I had seen before on Aliexpress were in tubes, and it was like $10 per tube. And while I was intrigued because they were pretty pastel colors, I also wasn't sure if I was willing to spend that much money on, you know, probable off-brand random tubes. But I did find on Aliexpress the little half bands. So how cute is that? They're a little bit sticky. They look very opaque and probably chalky, but I actually kind of like that. It's kind of interesting how these ones are kind of like little globules and these ones are more flat like your regular half pans. Also interesting that they don't come pre-wrapped. So anyway, I'm really intrigued by that. So actually, I'm not even really sure. I hope that these are the same things as the ones that are in tubes. I really don't know because I can't read. Product of Japan. I don't know. Japanese products are usually pretty good though. Even like Chinese products, oftentimes in supplies, I'm usually kind of impressed by. This one I had seen, and this had been like available on things like Amazon Japan. Don't expect this to necessarily be very good. It kind of reminds me of you know, like little pretend makeup sets that you get little kids to play with when they're, you know, the little bitty and they're experimenting with makeup. That's kind of what this reminds me of. But it's another macaroon set watercolor. I don't know who makes this, but why this one was hard to come by, for whatever reason, whatever ingredient is in here is like banned. Like you can't ship it to the US. And I find that to be true for a lot of Japanese products. Like the United States won't let you import, and I don't know, it causes cancer or something. Who knows? So this was one of those. I thought it looked really cute. I also thought it looked really cheap, but it wasn't importable before. But I finally found it on Aliexpress. And just look how cute they are. Oh, too bad about the box though. It says, is that supposed to be like 2022? Is that like an expiration date? Kusakabe? Yeah, that sounds right. But it tells you here, I guess I'm just going to throw in this box away. But mint, blueberry, framboise, isn't that like French for strawberry, apricot, lemon, pistachio? Very cute. So again, what I'm going to do with these, we're going to swatch them out and play with them real quick. Just look how cute. So again, I usually like to work in tan colored sketchbooks, so I'm going to swatch these in the same journal that I swatched my other pastel colors in from my last art haul. And I don't even know if these have names attached to these. We're going to start with the Mairtini ones and quickly do swatchy. I'm also gonna do like a comparison. I'm gonna swatch it in white paper as well. Probably no surprise, but everything is probably the same manufacturer, you know, between your Arteza or what's the other one that I use a lot, the Prima Marketing, those watercolor confection ones. Everything is probably generally the same, and they do remind me quite a bit. This is it in white paper. That's it on the tan paper, and I mean, I like them just fine. I don't know what they're like. Fastness, that's a hard word to say for some reason, is because there's like no information on them, but I mean they're cute and they're pleasant. For funsies, I also just re-swatched out my watercolor confections. I'm missing a swatch because I don't remember what I swatched. I didn't do a very good job at it, but they're on like the same scale as those, and I actually use my watercolor confections colors a lot. They're like my most used colors, and they're probably not the most professional in the scope of things, but they do their job just fine. I thought maybe these originally were just gonna be like a repeat of the Arteza pastel watercolors, which I didn't like the Arteza ones. They were fine swatching, but then I did not like them to use them at all. I thought that they'd be like the same thing, but they're actually not. I didn't really see any duplications. It's actually kind of interesting. This one came with a brown, but then again, your watercolor confections also came with brown. So, I mean, but no duplicates that I can see. They seem like they function as they should. Oh, I did want to compare though, just in case you were like curious. So these are the Shinhan professional watercolors. Those are thick like gouache. So it's kind of just funny just to see the differences in like professional versus probably non-professional. But that's the Shinhan swatches. And then I also have in here my Holbein. This is Holbein. So just in like comparison with your pigment versus your non-pigment, how much more pigmented those are. And I do really enjoy my Holbein and my Shinhan, but for whatever reason I keep going back to the watercolor confections ones, and I tend to use those the most. So whatever, the swatches don't really mean anything to me. They're just there to see what it is that I'm getting myself into, pretty much. Did I get paint on there, or was that from before? No, that was from before. Okay, let's swatch out these little guys real quick. I expect nothing. Oh my goodness, my first impression was the Kusakabe one, these little roundy ones. They went on thick. I wasn't expecting that. I feel like I was expecting it to be kind of like the Crayola little kids watercolors, you know, the ones that barely have any pigment in there at all. But these were actually like very like thick, like they went on like melted butter. It was kind of interesting. So that was kind of a surprise. The annoying thing though with these ones, the packaging feels really cheap. But you have to really dig deep in there with your paintbrush to like scoop the pigment out, which is kind of annoying. But otherwise, those are kind of fun. Again, I feel Eastery. I like it. I don't know how they do with like a real illustration, but maybe I'll try and doodle something real quick. This is a lot of colors to have to go through, but let's see. My lighting today is absolutely atrocious. There's just no sun, but we're just gonna try and purposefully use all of these colors on little doodles just to see what they look like. So we're just gonna color in a bunch of stars and bubble teas and little macaroons. Those aren't hamburgers, they're macaroons. just to see what we get. Let's do this. So we just zoomed ahead so that I could have time to play with this. It's actually the next day now, and you know, the sun went down. I already had poor lighting as it was, and I just needed time in the dark to actually get something on paper and paint it. But overall, I really don't think that these are all that bad of watercolors. I kind of enjoyed more so than like you know, I keep pointing out Arteza. The quality I don't think was that bad. They're pretty nice actually, and I was able to do a decent amount of work with them, albeit keep in mind that of course I did use like my normal method of colored pencils and ink pens to bring out some like additional emphasis. So this isn't solely just those watercolors, but overall not bad. Now the thing with of course pastel paints is it is hard to get shadows and your highlights. It's hard to just use pastels just by themselves. You're probably going to have to use some sort of a more heavy duty, more pigmented color and to bring out the colors of the pastels. So I did use, but only on the stars, because the yellow and the orange were so mild. I did go back to my regular pastel palette and I used that pink color that I'm using all the time. Let me see here. It's the Prima Marketing, the Watercolor Confections, this weird red color. It just, I don't know. This color does everything, in my opinion, for shadows. I just enjoy using it for shadows. So on the stars a little bit, I went back and I added a little bit of that red color to add some sort of a volume. But I didn't add it anywhere else, which probably needed it. But because I wasn't filming when I was painting these, I was like, oh gosh, I'm cheating. But anyway, I enjoy these watercolors. My only thing is that I just don't have enough space to use these. These are very cute, very aesthetic to look at. But like, where do I put these at? I don't know if I would routinely be able to just have these out to use them. Hence is the problem with all of my hoarding aspects. But the Mairtini ones, I am curious again to see if these are the same thing as the ones in the tubes. But I enjoy the opacity of them. I enjoy the milky look to them. They're a bit chalky. Obviously there's white involved, but I like that in watercolors and a lot of people don't. So overall, a successful experiment, very fun to play with. And that's all that I have for right now. As I said, I'm working on another project that's somewhat art related, so I'll probably have another video in the next couple of days. But otherwise, I'll see y'all the next time. Bye-bye.